Hi, welcome friends. It's Magic Monday. Yes, this is exciting, right? Okay, so Magic Monday, what is it? It's just an opportunity for me to come online and do a live Facebook shout out of that is with the goal of just inspiring and providing entertainment and empowerment and always offering tools and practical resources that you can use in regards to fitness, motherhood, and just generally kicking ass in life. What's up, Megan? Oh, thank you for letting me know that the sound is good because it's always just a worry of mine. I don't have any way of being able to see if it's actually live or not, especially when I use my weird Madonna microphone. I don't know. And Jackson is here to play as well. Woo! Oh, okay. So how do I choose these topics every week? I choose topics to cover with you guys that I am noticing are on the hearts and minds of the women that I coach, that I work with on my one-on-one private coaching business, and just like in my heart and mind as well. And that means that we are going to talk today about mom guilt. I feel like this could be a meme. We've seen so many memes about mom guilt actually. And it's kind of a cliche, like funny thing that people will talk about. But if you're a mama, you know that this shit is real, right? Like it really can be exhausting the way we treat ourselves and talk to ourselves in regards to our parenting. So today I want to get into what exactly is mom guilt. So let's unpack it. Let's figure out why our brain is doing this. Like what purpose is it serving us so that we can unlearn the habit and then replace that habit with some really practical tools and thoughts that will get you to the next level in your life and just a next level of parenting and showing up as a mom. So I enjoyed thinking about this topic because it meant that I got to spend some time with Brene Brown. And if you guys are not familiar with Brene Brown, holy heck, like get online and look her up right now. She's a social worker and she specializes in the study of shame. And she has created, it's the first of its kind, it's a whole research lab on studying the emotion of shame. And she has done some profound work in the area. So I would be absolutely remiss to talk about or cover the idea of mom guilt without seeing what Brene Brown had to say. And what I noticed was, as I was thinking about mom guilt, the word shame kept coming up for me. Even though we were talking about guilt, I kept coming up with the word shame. So what did Brene have to say about it? Check this out, you guys. It's going to kind of blow your mind. Brene Brown says, and this is a quote, I'm reading it, I copied and pasted onto a piece of paper. There's a profound difference between shame and guilt. I believe that guilt is adaptive and helpful. It's holding something we've done or failed to do up against our values and feeling psychological discomfort. I define shame as the intensely painful feeling or experience of believing that we are flawed and therefore unworthy of love and belonging, something we've experienced, done, or failed to make us unworthy of connection. I don't believe shame is helpful or productive. So that's Brene Brown's take on the distinction between shame and guilt. Hey, Erica, what's up? Oh, I'm so glad you could join us today. So obviously, Brene says that there's a big difference between shame and guilt, right? So if we're looking at mom guilt and the kind of the term that's thrown around often, which is mom guilt. And guilt really is just like this feeling that you've done something wrong, right? Hi! So guilt is this feeling that you've done something wrong. But for a lot of mothers, we take it above and beyond. We are just overachievers. Erica says, so excited to hear you live. Thanks. It's kind of fun. I'm enjoying this. I have to say, it's fun to be here with you guys. And for those of you in the comments, definitely leave comments, like let me know you're here. If you have questions as we're going through this, ask them. That's the beauty of Facebook Live, because you can show up live, you can get direct answers. If I say something and you clarification, let me know. If I have a booger, let me know. I mean, that's the fabulous, way that Facebook works. This interface is great, so let's take advantage of it. So mom guilt, and what I've experienced and what I've seen with so many of my clients and even within myself is this, that we take it from a mom guilt, from a feeling of I've failed or I've done wrong in a specific situation, to shame. And what does Brene Brown say about shame? Intensely painful feeling or experience of believing that we are flawed and therefore unworthy of love and belonging. Whoa, I know when we hear those words on the like superficial level, we're like, oh, holy heck, that's way bigger than what I've ever felt with mom guilt. But if you really sit with those words, you can see for yourself that there are certain times in your life where you go to this place of really believing that you are intensely and painfully flawed. And if you're resonating with me as I'm saying this, do not think there is something wrong with you. Girl, your brain is normal. This is exactly what your human brain was designed to do. It's a self-defensive protective mechanism. So do not beat yourself up if you feel this feeling. And I'm pulling you out on this one because what I see with those who are experiencing mom guilt is that it starts with this. The guilt is felt whenever we are doing something that is different or less than what we think we need to hold ourselves to. Megan says it's socially enforced somewhat. Yes, it is. It's a socially enforced belief. Absolutely. So when we're at this place where we are operating and behaving in a way that we think is different from how we should be behaving, that starts and manifests as guilt, okay? As this, and guilt can actually be very useful. Guilt can be an emotion that we experience that's uncomfortable that can motivate us to do something different. So this is a useful experience of guilt. But there is a slippery slope from guilt to shame. And girl, if you're finding yourself traveling down this slippery slope, you've got to dig your heels in and stop, because shame is going to get you nowhere. After enough times of feeling guilty about doing something as a mother that you think is not in alignment with your values, you are going to start to feel shame. And it looks something like this. It looks like, okay, let me give you a very real example here. So I'm obviously a work from home mom, and I'm starting my own business, and I'm working a lot. Like, I am putting the hustle in and I'm loving it and it's exciting, but my children are home with me. So you probably know where I'm going with this. What am I using as the babysitter? Television. So during spring break, what's up, Natalie? Mwah. So during spring break, my 3-year-old was parked in front of that TV for the majority of the day. I'm talking 5 hours, 6 hours of watching Sesame Street. Oh, hell yes, you better believe there was some mom guilt going on there. Like, I felt like crap. I was doing something that was against my values, right? Because I have this idea that a child shouldn't watch more than 30 minutes of TV a day. And I'm totally going against that value. And I'm trying so hard to justify it, but yet it's just not working. And I'm feeling a lot of anxiety in my belly, and I'm feeling a little bit of stress in my shoulders. By the end of the week, going through this behavior of putting my kid in front of the TV, having the thought that I'm doing something that I shouldn't be doing, feeling the anxiety, and then really not doing anything to change it, kind of feeding into that negativity, girl, it started to transfer into shame. I started to feel embarrassed. My husband would come home at the end of the day and I'd be like, yeah, we did stuff today, right? All of a sudden I'm trying to like cover up what I did. And it was really kind of an intense feeling and a feeling of helplessness. How am I going to stop this? I have business goals that I need to do, but yet I'm parking her in front of the TV. I'm totally conflicting here. Yes, it was a slippery slope. The beautiful part of this example is that on Monday she went back to preschool. So thank God for the savior there. But if that not had happened, I would have absolutely had to have dug my heels in on that slippery slope, because the mom guilt would have translated and transferred to mom shame. And once we get to the shame, it is so difficult to get out, because shame is a very intense emotion. Your brain is going to get wired to experience shame. And we have this negativity bias where we almost want to sit in those very intense negative emotions. It gives us an adrenaline rush. There is definitely some kind of a chemical response that keeps us there. And so you're going to continue to seek it unwittingly, you will continue to seek that feeling of shame because you've trained your brain to like and see and feel comfortable in the shame. Isn't it crazy the way our minds work? So it doesn't even matter if something fantastic in your world as a mother is happening, you're not going to be wired and awake to see the fantastic happening. You are going to be looking for the events that will help you, the events that happen, the circumstances that happen that will produce a feeling, a thought, and then a feeling of shame for you. And this is just the way your brain is wired. And when we walk around unconsciously and we're not aware of this system, we're not aware of the fact that this is how habits form and this is how our brain creates thoughts and then practices them over and over and over again, we are going to think that there's something wrong with us, that we are just really crappy parents, like really bad parents, and we're going to mess our kids up. I can't even tell you guys how many women I have heard say, I am so afraid I'm going to destroy my child. Oh my gosh, how many times have I said that? Just ask my husband, he'll tell you. So know that once you get into this mom guilt habit, if you're practicing the feeling of guilt over and over again, it's going to translate into shame. And it's so much harder to get out of that shame than it would have been to just get out of the habit of guilt. Think about it as if like level 1 and then level 2. Level 1 is that guilt. You're kind of playing with, just talking crappy about yourself. Level 2, that shame. Oh man, girl, you are going all in. You are committed to really talking and not liking yourself. So that's how mom shame, plays out for us. And as I'm talking here, I would love to know. Oh, and Michael says, and we hide it. Yes, we do. We're so good at hiding those uncomfortable feelings and the feelings of shame and the thoughts that we have that create those feelings of guilt. Absolutely. So as I'm talking here, just think about like what in your life are you experiencing guilt about? What types of actions are you taking that are coming from a place of guilt? And watch yourself, because that will so easily and readily translate and evolve into a feeling of shame. I'm going to pause there. Okay, so that's the distinction between mom guilt and mom shame. I should say mom and dad guilt, right? Parent guilt, parent shame. Like dads are totally not. Sorry, you guys, you are not immune to this experience. We will fully share it with you. So the difference between the guilt and the shame, right? And I hope that you guys can see in your lives how you've had an experience, or you've had a thought, you've responded with a feeling of guilt and then acted that out. And then that guilt, once practiced enough, is going to become shame. So from here on out, I'm going to talk about shame. Let's just get into it, right? And I see very specific personality types that tend to fall on this, since I'm going with this analogy, the slippery slope, okay? And I'm going to lay them out there and tell me what you guys think about it. But individuals who consider themselves high achievers in the parenting realm, high achievers very easily fall into this parenting guilt, parenting shame mode because number one, we think that it's motivating. So we think, well, in my example with letting my child watch TV, right? Well, I think I need to feel guilty about this. I need to feel like I'm a crappy parent. I need to think I'm a crappy parent because if I, for an instant, don't acknowledge that this is a bad decision, I'm just going to continue to do it. I'm going to continue to go all in, go all out and do it, and I'm not going to do anything to change. So if I just like sit in this guilt and then really let it stew and become shame, then I'm just going to, I'll change. Isn't that funny? It's so illogical. It's the antithesis of how our brain actually works, right? Think about it in terms of, I like to use this analogy. Think about it in terms of weight loss. So if you're sitting there hating the way you look, you hate the way you look, you don't think that it's in alignment with who you feel like as a person, you just want to change, change, change. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. Like you are so not going to wake up tomorrow in a body that you like, right? No one has ever hated themselves thin. In the same way, no one has ever motivated themselves by hating themselves to be a better parent. No one has ever hated themselves, but motivated themselves by hating themselves to go train for a marathon or whatever. Like, self-defecation is not a logical way to get yourself to behave in alignment with your core values. How do you get yourself to behave in alignment with your core values? You slow the hell down and you ask yourself, why am I not currently behaving with my core values? And you get to that thought, because there is a thought there in your brain that you are not consciously hearing that is keeping you from acting in a way that is in alignment with your core values, and you've got to get curious. So, high achievers, stop with the mom guilt. Stop with the mom shame. It is illogical. You are not going to use guilt or shame to motivate yourself to be better, do better, whatever. Knock it off. Okay? Second type of person I see that really uses, I'm just going to say mom, even though I know it's dads too, but that's like just kind of how my brain keeps going. So know that I mean parents, even though I keep saying mom. The second type of person are people pleasers. So people pleasers are individuals who really have this kind of, I just got off the call with a client and we were talking about apps, like apps on our phone. So you'll have an app running in the background and it's changing the way the entire interface of your program is running, but you don't even know that that app is running. People pleasers have this, I need to make you happy app running in the background of everything they do. And they don't even really know it's there. And they don't even really know that it's changing the way they're interfacing with everybody. It's just kind of always on, and they've even forgotten that it's on. So people pleasers have this unspoken, unregistered idea that I am going to show up in the world in order to make you happy. Girl, there ain't nothing you can do in this world to make me happy. Sorry, you don't have that kind of power. And vice versa. There ain't nothing I can do in this world to make you happy. I don't have that kind of power. We are all 100% fully responsible for the way we feel at any given moment. And this can be such an unsettling and shocking thought for a people pleaser because it completely uproots the way they are interacting with the world. If you are a people pleaser, oftentimes the mom guilt, the mom shame crops up because you're walking around thinking, what are they going to think? Right? So my child just had Parker, my 3-year-old, just did this in Ulta the other day. I went to get some makeup and she lost her mind. Oh, after she dipped all of her fingers into all of the colored eyeshadows that are like on her level, and I'm like, stop it, stop it, stop it. She had like eyeshadow all over the display case. Dead. I'm dead. Right. And they were standing in line, and I was so meticulous about getting all of my makeup and everything that I need. And I've been shopping online and figured blah, blah, blah. I'm standing in line and she loses it. She just literally crumbled to the ground and is screaming in the middle of Ulta. And I'm there like, what's happening? What's going on? Oh my gosh. I was so embarrassed, but I absolutely had the thought, what are these women thinking about me? Oh my God, they probably think that I'm a shit show. I kind of am a shit show right now, right? And so without checking that thought, I mean, I had that thought and then I immediately heard it. I immediately knew that I had that thought. I didn't, back in the day, before I did my own self-coaching work, I would have had the thought and it would have just registered very subconsciously. It would have been my app that was running and I don't even know that it's running. But I heard it and I checked it and immediately realized how ridiculous that is, because holy heck, anybody who's a human being knows that a 3-year-old is going to throw themselves down on the ground in a tantrum at some point. So get over it, right? But people pleasers often, if they're not recognizing that this is what they're doing, they're walking around in the world with this idea of what will these other people think? Therefore, as soon as they do something in their parenting, or their child does something, or something happens that they respond to with the thought, this person isn't going to like me, this person is going to say something bad about me, I can't make this person happy now, automatic guilt. It just results in automatic guilt. And when that happens enough, it is going to transfer to shame. So If you are an individual who really finds yourself walking around overly concerned with how other people are thinking about you, or overly, or sometimes it shows up like this. So it shows up as either I'm concerned about how they're thinking about me, or it shows up, I need to make them happy. I want them to like me. I want them to, something where it's like, I think that I have the ability to influence your feelings in this moment. It's very much a people pleaser. So if you're seeing yourself in this definition, check it in your parenting, because it will translate to mom guilt, mom shame, and it's not necessary. No one cares. No one cared that my child watched 5 hours of Scooby-Doo on Thursday. Really, at the end of the day, she's not going to be a worse human for it. But if I have the idea that I am a bad mom and my neighbor is going to judge me for it, oh man, that's a slippery slope. I could really start beating myself up over that, and the lack and the self-confidence would just plummet. Okay, so that's number 3. Hi, Sean, what's up? Michael says, that's okay. Say mom. I'm a proud one. Oh, because Michael, a single disabled dad of 3, 12, 8, and 4, but I've mommed their whole lives. Man, can I like high five you? Awesome. Like mommed 3 kiddos of that. Man, awesome, awesome. So look at that. We have 2 guys joining us. This is exciting, I tell you. Okay, so we talked about high achievers and how this parenting guilt, shame plays into high achievers, people pleasers. Now let's talk about perfectionists. So perfectionism, an individual who is a perfectionist is someone that is really going to attempt to do everything right? That's kind of the definition of perfectionist. But what ends up happening is that they do nothing at all, because they know I can't do anything because it's not going to go right. So you're a perfectionist if you see yourself. I actually could like do a whole separate thing on perfectionism, because I'm a perfectionist. You're a perfectionist if you're I lost the word again. This is like postpartum mom brain to the T. You guys are seeing it real life. Procrastinate. You're a perfectionist if you procrastinate. You're procrastinating because you're trying to fail in advance. You're failing ahead of time, right? You're a perfectionist if you're not producing actual results, if you're just kind of passively walking around trying to get something done and you're never getting anything done. A perfectionist, the app that's running in their background is the app of I'm not good enough. And oftentimes when I first say this sentence to clients, they're like, huh? I'm not good enough? And then it just hits home. Absolutely hits home. And I don't know, is it the messaging that we received when we were children? Who knows? I'm not a psychologist, I'm a life coach, right? I'm here to tell you that if this is the app that's running for you in the background, you have to see it, you have to acknowledge it, you have to understand that this is the way your human brain works, and then you have to strategically untrain it. Turn that app off strategically with a method. So this idea of I'm not good enough shows up in parenting in ways like, well, in my example that I gave with letting Parker watch a lot of TV, I could have easily gone to the place of beating myself up for not being able to manage a business and raise a child without putting her in front of the TV, right? That could have looked like thoughts such as, I'm a crappy mom, like I'm ruining her. She's going to remember this, and it's going to, not, I don't know, you could take it to whatever. She's not going to get into Harvard because she watched Scooby-Doo. I mean, this is a little ridiculous, but you get where I'm going with this, right? That if you are that perfectionist mindset that you have to be perfect every single time, and then you have one instance of parenting that was less than perfect, the mom guilt, it's like a recipe, ba-boom, ba-boom, A to B. That's exactly where you're headed. So if you see yourself as a perfectionist, really be aware. What is that? What is that manifesting like for you in your life, in your parenting? And 9 times out of 10, there is always this little voice in the back of your head that's saying, I'm not good enough. And let me tell you, baby, that voice is a crock of shit. It's not true. It is lying to you. It is keeping you small. It is keeping you confused, and it's keeping you unconscious. So turn it off and walk away. Okay, so those are three personality types that I see really digging on the mom guilt, mom shame train: the high achiever, the people pleaser, and the perfectionist. Oftentimes people will see themselves in all three of these. And if that's what you're feeling, that's, yeah, pretty normal, pretty normal. Here's what we absolutely, at the end of the day, if you take anything from this, know this: mom guilt, mom shame is the killer of self-confidence. So if you don't want to be a confident parent, like if you want to have no self-confidence, no trust in your ability to be a parent, just like get on the mom guilt train. Just do that. You got it. There's your problem. So if you are already on that mom guilt, mom shame train, and you want to get off, there are a few ways that I would like you to consider. You ready? I wrote a few notes. Number one, there are 3 ways. 3 ways? Do I have 3? Yeah. Look at that. Look how organized I am, you guys. I'm not a perfectionist. No, not at all. 3 ways to get off the mom guilt train. Number 1, get comfortable with feeling like crap. Get comfortable with your negative emotions. It's so funny because it sounds so basic, right? I mean, you're like, well, duh. But we don't do that. In fact, everything that we do in life is with this attempt to not feel negative. Just turn on the TV. They'll tell you to go eat yogurt because it will make you feel better than you feel right now. Give me a break. What if you just feel right now how you feel? What if it is okay to wake up tomorrow and just feel crappy? To wake up tomorrow and just feel completely unmotivated to do whatever it is that you said that you were going to do. And really all you want to do is just sit on the sofa and hold your baby and eat some bonbons and watch Scooby-Doo. What if that's okay? It's completely okay, because the negative emotions are 50% of your life. 50% of the time, you're going to wake up feeling amazing. 50% of the time, you're going to wake up feeling like anxious poo. It's just life. It's just the way it goes. And there's really not much you can do to change that. I mean, we try to, right? Like we try to, I don't know, use drugs. I guess you could wake up and drink vodka if you really want, but to each his own. You know, we do things to try to erase the negative. What if you just didn't? What if you just let the negative feelings exist? Okay, so that's number 1. Then that's the first step to dealing with, overcoming, eradicating mom guilt. Get comfortable with your negative emotions. Number 2, see your thoughts as what they are: just sentences in your brain. So let me say that again. Your thoughts are just sentences in your brain. Now, if this is a new idea for you, here's what you've been doing up until this point. You have thoughts about something, and you think that thought is a fact. So I'm looking out my office window right now. I'm having the thought, it's really pretty outside. Is that a fact? Like, in the court of law, could we prove that it's pretty outside? No, it's just a thought. That's not even true. It's just my thought. It's my sentence in my brain. So do you see the difference between a thought and a fact? So really understanding that when you have these thoughts about yourself as a parent, they are just thoughts. They are not true. I don't know if he's trying to eat or if he's like wanting to play with my necklace. This is hilarious. So here's the counterpart to that. If you have a thought about yourself as a mom that's negative, right? Think about the last time you flew off the handle and yelled at your kids. Okay, so the thought there is, oh my God, I'm destroying my children. I don't know what your thought really was. I'm just throwing an idea out there. Oh my God, I'm destroying my children. I can't believe I yelled. Okay, that's just a thought. It's not a fact. But you're going to think it's a fact. What? And if you think that that is a fact, how are you going to show up? How are you going to feel about yourself about your ability to be a parent. And then how are you going to act? I mean, if you have the thought, I'm destroying my children, you're going to feel like crap. You're going to feel completely disempowered. And then you're going to act probably really insecure. You'll act the opposite of self-confident, I guarantee it. And the result for you is that you'll probably do something that will just reconfirm the thought. You will just prove your thought to be true. Why? Because if you don't prove your thought to be true, you're going to put yourself in cognitive dissonance, and that's uncomfortable. Okay? So see your thoughts as what they are. They're just sentences in your head. And then the third way to kick mom guilt in the ass is that, let's see, what did I write here? I can't even read my own handwriting, you guys. When our reasons to excel are not compelling enough, we use guilt to hate ourselves into it. So what is compelling to you? The third way to, I know what I meant. The third way to kick mom guilt in the ass is basically to decide what's your ultimate goal? Like, what's the outcome? So in this situation where feeling mom guilt is very, like that option is very accessible to you, what is the actual outcome that you want in this situation? So back to my example of letting my kid watch Scooby-Doo. Mom guilt was so accessible to me at that moment. I could easily have gone down that place of, oh my God, I'm a horrible parent. I can't believe I just did that, blah, blah, blah. But what was the actual result that I wanted? At the end of the day, I wanted to know that my child was taken care of. She was safe. She was warm. She was fed. She had interesting and stimulating things. She was laughing. And I got some work done that showed her that mama also lives her passion and her dreams. Like I could demonstrate that to her. I could be an example of that to her. So I chose that thought instead. So what was the result that you want? What is the actual result that you want in this situation? The next time you fly off the handle and yell at your children, the next time your kid throws themselves down onto the ground, the next time something happens where the parent guilt and shame is totally accessible and ready. It's like sitting on the sideline, like, oh, pick me, pick me, pick me. That is your opportunity to step back and say, actually, what is the result that I want from this? How do I want this story to end? How do I want to feel when this is all said and done? So tonight, so again, let's like use my example of being in Ulta and Parker throwing herself down on the ground. Tonight when I'm laying in bed, how do I want to feel about that experience? Do I want to feel like I was a shitty mom and that I did a disservice and that my kid is out of control and that it must be a representation of what's wrong with me and why can't I do this? Or do I want to feel like, well, that was interesting. Holy hell. Parker totally colored everything with eyeshadow and then threw a tantrum. Thank goodness the employees at Ulta were supportive, right? All of that is accessible to you. That whole range of thought, feeling, and emotion is accessible to you in relation to your parenting, in relation to everything you do in life. I'm sure you guys can see how easily these skills will transfer over. I hope you guys can hear me with him like talking here. So, in conclusion, shame, mom guilt, it's the number one killer of self-confidence as a parent. Self-confidence is your ability to trust yourself. If you want to be able to trust yourself in the decisions that you make as a parent, you have got to stay away from mom guilt. Watch your language. Watch how you talk about yourself as a parent. Watch what you say about yourself to other parents. We use mom guilt like as a joke, and it's not. It's real. It is a real experience that can be totally debilitating. He dropped a pacifier, you guys. I'm going to see if I can find it. This is always entertaining, right? Like, what other whatever live video on Facebook has the person talking to you crawling underneath their desk? I don't know. I had a client the other day, and in the middle of our session, Jackson totally loaded his diaper. And I'm like, sorry, girl, you got to come with me here. So I brought the laptop. I'm all all changing a poopy diaper? That's okay, because she had her 7-year-old and her 4-year-old running around like crazy banshees. So it was all good, right? This is mom life. So mom guilt, mom shame, it's a killer of self-confidence. Watch the way you talk about it. Watch the way you think about it. Know that in order to counteract that, first of all, get comfortable with your negative emotions, meaning accept that you've got them and it's okay. Number 2, see your thoughts as just that. They're just sentences in your brain. They're not fact. They are thoughts, not fact. And number 3, decide in advance, like how do you want this to result? And how do you want to feel when this is all said and done? Follow those 3 steps. The next time you are in a situation that mom guilt is an option for you. So obviously this is going to mean that you're going to need to tune in. I like the visual of, oh, I see mom guilt over there, like waiting on the side, and I see the slope. Like I can very easily pick up some mom guilt and then slide down the slippery slope to shame, which, as Brene Brown says, is intensely painful feeling or experience of believing that we are flawed. Like you can easily fall down into that, or you can decide, I'm having a negative feeling right now. That's okay. It's only 50% of my life. I'm thinking that I'm a crappy mom because my child's throwing herself on the ground, but that's just a thought. It's just a sentence in my brain. And when I go to bed tonight, how do I want to think about this situation? What is the result that I want? I want to know that I did the best that I could and that, she was just being her. That was life. Okay, so I hope that was helpful for you, helping you understand exactly what mom guilt, mom shame is, and then giving you some solid things to do the next time you experience it. What's up, Eric? Oh, it's so good to see you here. Yay! I love it. This is like a community of all my friends. You guys rock. Now, that's what I got for you. So before I tune off and go feed this little nugget, do you guys have any questions? Is there anything like you want me to touch on? Anything that I said that you were like, she's full of shit? Or anything that you want more info on? And I'll wait a second. If you do, just put it in the comment box. And of course, as always, if you guys are wanting to take this work further, because I tell you what, it is powerful work, just drop me a message. Just like go into the instant message box and say, Katie, tell me more. And we will hop on the phone. I'm so happy to give you a coaching session. I love working with you guys one-on-one. Or telling you about the 6-week program that I run, where I work one-on-one with mamas, and we take these issues deep and heavy and hard. You unpack so much. And by the end of the 6 weeks, I can't even begin to tell you. It makes me want to cry whenever I think about it. Maybe that's because I'm postpartum, right? But the transformations that we've been having with my clients are just, oh man, it's just like, it's my reason, man. That's my compelling reason. So if you want to take this work further, just hop on an instant message and be like, Katie, hook me up. I want to go. I want to learn more. I don't see any more questions yet, so I might just end there. Okay, you guys. Thanks so much for joining me today. It was fun. It's awesome to be able to share these nuggets of interesting things with you. And I will not be here next Monday. Next Monday, Magic Monday is canceled because my husband is taking the day off of work. The kids are going elsewhere, and I don't know, maybe we'll just go sit in the hot tub. We'll do something, but that's what I'll be doing next Monday. A little self-care. But the following Monday, I will be back. So in the meantime, if there is an issue that comes up for you or something that you would love to see addressed here on Magic Monday, just shoot me a message. And if you want to take it further, shoot me a message and let's go for it. Bye, you guys. Have a fabulous week. Mwah. You say bye. Bye.